Friend Peter Doocy is with us. Sir, how are you?
Doing well, Sean. Thank you.
All right. I didn't like the fact you asked a legitimate question. We set a record, 10,000 illegal immigrants in a day, and she gets all pissed off that you dared to ask that question?
And I personally thought she was answering the question with a question, so I was answering. If I misread the room there, that's on me. But something that we heard them say today is that, yes, immigration, it's a problem that has been going on for many years. That is true. However, that includes 2.5 years of this administration. And just a few minutes ago, President Biden was at a gala in Washington, D.C., and he was talking about how the first piece of legislation that he put forward on his first day in office was this comprehensive immigration reform. They sent it to Congress and it failed. So he is saying that border problems now are because Republicans voted against his day one immigration measure. They did vote against it. But in Washington, D.C., you are allowed to put legislation forward more than once. And so they keep going back to this day one. We tried and it's not our fault anymore. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case, just if you look at the way that the system is set up. Something else that they've been trying to do over the last couple of years, and you touched on this with that app that they have, they want people to apply for asylum somewhere else and then come when they get cleared in. That just hasn't been working. And why would people apply, really, somewhere else if these folks are able just to walk in, circumvent the system, and get relocated to a different, to a big U.S. city? And I've been thinking a lot about this because last week and the week before, we were traveling internationally with the president. We were in India and Vietnam. And the process to get into a foreign country as an American, very complicated. You got to file a visa, you got to pay a fee, and then you got to go through a pretty comprehensive security checkpoint. None of that is happening here. And so there are international systems that are in place. The rules that you generally would expect as anybody who is traveling are not necessarily being followed. And this administration is not, they're not coming up with anything else. Like, it is a problem that keeps getting worse. 10,000 people in 24 hours is near an all-time high. That is not a problem that is getting better. And the question that I was trying to ask, what do they call that? Because they want to take credit for some small economic improvements, economic policy. They call it Bidenomics. Well, what is the immigration policy? And we will try again to find out tomorrow, Sean.
Oh, Biden's borders. How does it feel to be just flat out lied to when they say the border's closed and secure when we all know it's not, Peter? How do you deal with that?
I'm just there to figure out what they think is going to happen next. Like, what are they doing? And again, we will keep asking. And it would be great to have a chance to ask the president that. In the early days of the administration, we had many, many, many chances to talk to the president. Part of that was because the rooms were, for social distancing reasons, it was just the president and the press. There are many, many fewer chances to talk to the president as we go. But it would be great to hear from him. You'll remember he did go visit the border a couple weeks after I asked him why he was going out west and not visiting, and he said that there was other stuff going on. He did go, so presumably he understands what's happening, and it would be great to hear from him or from the vice president, who you will remember is in charge of the root causes of migration, because these are not just people coming from Mexico. They're coming from all over the world through Mexico. And we'll try to find out. But as far as we know, she's still on it.
Just be careful. He did call you an SOB once. He actually, you know, I'm just imagining if you say you're lying and the borders are wide open and they're not secure, he's not going to like you. But I don't think he likes you anyway, because you're the only one that asks fair questions. Peter, honestly, seriously, good job as always.
What's not to like about me? Come on.
I totally agree. Are we on Team Peter or no? We love Peter. Anyway. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.